Okay, guys, good evening, and very quickly because it's just about to go out. Going to do a new little playlist, if you will, movies that changed my life. So, what were the movies that have changed your life? So, I'm kicking off with 2001: A Space Odyssey for a number of reasons, for personal reasons and for filmic reasons. The first of all, it was a very personal event in my life. My dad, I'd been asking him. I was 10 at the time that it came out again in 19. Well, the movie came out in 1968, which is the same year that I came out. Okay, so there's that. Secondly, when I was 10, there was an anniversary sort of re-release of the movie, and my father had told me that he and mom had gone to see it and loved it in London and all the rest of it. They were in art school in London at the time in 1968, and or had been. I just finished up there, and I had cajoled and cajoled. I would love to go and see this. Love to go and see this. And my dad, anyway, he was an art teacher, and he still is. And he said he was going to do a talk in town, and I could come along and sit quietly in the back and listen. He was going to talk about Greek architecture, something like this. And I said, okay, well, that sounds good. So we were walking into town together, and this was a bit of an event. Halfway off, he stopped at the confectionery shop and just said, hey, let's go in, we'll get some crisps, as long as you eat them quietly down the back. So that was fine. And I was asking him where we were going and all the rest of it. So just as we got into the centre of town, we were passing the Tonic Cinema, which was a beautiful Art Deco listed building. It was the biggest silver screen in Ireland. Absolutely wonderful building. I think built in the 30s, I think. And so really from the glory days of cinema. And we were just passing, there was a big queue for 2001: A Space Odyssey. And my father turned to me and he says, come on, we'll just go in here instead. And I was like, really? So there started just one of the most magical cinematic experiences of my life, probably the most magical, insofar as you're at that age where it was just complete wonder. I wasn't going into it with any kind of intellectual agenda of, hey, I know what this is about, or it was just sheer spectacle and mystery and majesty from beginning to end, and it was terrifying and wonderful and beautiful and mysterious, and the monoliths just scared the pants off me. I didn't know what the monkeys were about. The bone well, spoilers, but when the hominid throws the bone, and then in that single cut, Kubrick, by removing film, eloquently, just in a beautiful edit, states the whole history of human evolution, from the throwing of the bone to that transformation in that single jump cut to the spaceship falling through space. I think probably the most elegant, succinct and beautiful piece of filmmaking. One of the magical moments, it actually brings a tear to my eye, that actual single edit. And the music of Richard Strauss, again, just so magnificent. Also Sprite Zarathustra. Okay, so there was that. Kubrick described 2001 as a religious film. He said it's not really a science fiction film. I love science fiction, but I was brought up in a very religious context, like many people in Ireland, and I was always, I'm not a religious person now, but I'm a very spiritual person. I'm very interested in the big questions of like where we came from, where we go, what is our true nature, and I'm hugely interested in UFOs, extraterrestrial themes, and some of the abduction phenomena, some of these things that are happening in the world around us that are really awe-inspiring and magical and frightening and wonderful. And so all these are encapsulated in 2001. Technically, it's an absolute tour de force. HAL, is it HAL 2000? HAL 1000 is one of the greatest villains in cinema, and just one of the most extraordinary creations. The creation of the revolving space station, just tremendous. The art direction, the sort of sex scene between the spermatozoa of the space shuttle docking with the mothership as a sort of courtship ballet to the music of Strauss. Absolutely extraordinary. The first use of computer graphics, I mean 10-15 years before computer graphics were able to be used, they used hand traced cells for the docking sequence, hand animated wireframes of the docking sequence. Just incredible stuff. And of course then there's the morphic resonances between, the sperm, of the spacecraft docking with the egg of Jupiter, the rebirth of the cosmic child, the music of Zarathustra, the thematic influence of Nietzsche, the ascent of man up the mountain to the dawn of a new species. Just tremendously interesting stuff. And then, of course, being me, there's a conspiracy tied into it as well. I want you to check out Jay Weidner, that's Wiedmer, and his amazing research into what I thought was initially a crackpot scheme. It may be a crackpot scheme, but it's certainly got some very, very interesting textual analysis to back it up. That Kubrick was employed, bear with me, to let's say help with some of the PR aspects of the Moon program, and we'll leave it at that. And in return for which he was granted sort of final cut on a sort of cosmic masterpiece, which became 2001. Now, I'm not going to take your time to go into that now, but check out Jay Weidner and his work on Stanley Kubrick as a cosmic alchemist. And if that's not weird enough for a Saturday night, I don't know what is. So I'm going to leave it there. I would love to hear the movies that changed your life, but that was the one that got me really interested in films and just confirmed my interest in UFOs and the big spiritual questions, the love of music, the love of science fiction, and the love of my father too. God bless you. Thanks for listening, and let me know the movies that changed your life. See you soon.